The offseason gift that we get is schedule release day in the NBA and for the Philadelphia 76ers. So Kyle and I and Bree will break it all down right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast presented by Rothman Orthopedics.
D-Flyer's already in the chat saying 41 and 41 without seeing the schedule.
That's under.
Hello, D.
That's under that number, too, that Bet365 had him at. So if you go under, you make some money. We're broadcasting live from the Xfinity Lounge as we get ready to break down the schedule once it drops in about 14 minutes.
14 minutes.
14 minutes. We'll get the schedule. We'll go through it all. Marcus Blackstock with the 46 and 36. That'll probably get you
Are we going to get a blind
seed.
Devon Gibbons prediction without seeing the schedule? What's your prediction?
Right now, I would go 43.
That was the exact number I had in my head.
Wins.
39.
Yeah, I'll go 43 wins today for right now. So look at us. We work together long enough, know each other long enough where we go 43.
The synergy.
I'm sure Bree also had it at 43.
I'll take 45.
All right, there you go.
They're calling her optimistic Bree.
And we'll get Derek's thoughts somewhere in there, I'm sure, throughout the show as he checks in on the chat. But great to be with you all, of course, as we broadcast live from the Xfinity Lounge. Kyle Newbeck, Devon Givens, Bree, president of basketball ops. Kyle, what are you looking forward to when the schedule drops here?
Basketball. That's what I'm looking forward to.
We already know that there is no Christmas, no Martin Luther King Day, opening night that hasn't been featured. Mm-hmm. And even with the drops from ESPN to NBC, Amazon Prime, we haven't seen a marquee game
really
yet.
Is weird not thinking about TNT as part of the
I know,
NBA.
That's crazy. Except for the Sixers releasing what they'll have for the NBA Cup schedule, which two games will be on Prime and what was the other one? NBC. So with it, is there anything right out of the gate? Of course, we both agree on 43. So I'll just ask you that right away to start. Why 43 as that number?
It's a little splitting the difference, right? Because I think if you were to get healthy Joel Embiid and Paul George, with the way the Eastern Conference is set up this year, there are a lot of easy wins. I'll use air quotes on easy wins because the Sixers, there are no easy wins based on how the last year went. But there are a lot of wins to be had on the schedule in their conference. So if you get like 70% health for Joel and PG, you should be able to win a good amount of games because you also have Maxey as the guy you expect to be out there every night. You have the young legs of McCain and Edgecombe and Justin Edwards and Adem Bona, and hopefully you don't have to go to these deep bench older players that have to sustain you throughout the season. And so that's a team that could win high 40s, low 50s if everything breaks right. But I think if you just say, well, if things go wrong, the bottom can drop out somewhere in the, light 40s, 41, 42, 43. That's kind of where I think the median outcome is.
So the Pistons locked in the 6th seed with 44 wins, Kyle, last season. And the Orlando Magic, the 7th seed at 41. So somewhere around 6, 7, maybe even 8, because we've talked about where there's going to be a lot of, just throw it up in the air outside of New York and outside of Cleveland, maybe Orlando and Atlanta a little bit on the back end. But you're going to be throwing up of who's going to be where, and who knows? The Sixers could find themselves still in the top, fighting for a top 6, that back end, that 6 seed, maybe even that 7. So 43, I agree with you. And it immediately made me think of this, though. Who is Tyrese Maxey if they're a 43-win team? Is he an all-star again? Is he in conversation about all-NBA once again this year? It's totally different from his all-star year where they went high 40s and at 50s. We don't know yet. As you just said, there's a chance that they could be high 40s, low 50s. There could also be 43 based on the prediction that we just had. That said, we think it's going to be led by him, the most consistent guy on the floor.
He's the one you can
stars.
count on the most, for sure. Like I've said it on the show many, many times at this point, but Tyrese's team is a thing that is now like, it has happened by default, right? Because I don't think you can go into the season saying, boy, if Joel is healthy and if Joel is this or if PG is this, because their track record is what it is, right? They've both been in the league long enough. We've gone through the ups and downs enough that you say I'm just not going to go into the season putting all my eggs in the Joel Embiid basket. It has to be, all right, Maxey is going to be the featured player, and how does everyone look around him, and how do they find different combinations with him? What you get from Joel Embiid is not necessarily a bonus, but I think if you're saying, what am I expecting from Joel Embiid? It's probably somewhere in the middle ground between last year, which was a disaster, and the MVP level play. I don't think he's going to be at that top end. I just don't think until we have evidence we can say he can get back to that level. But my hope would certainly be he's not going to play 19 games again. And that 19 even comes with an asterisk because he didn't finish multiple games last year that count as games played.
So last year, the Sixers, I'm looking at it here. I'm trying to make sure that this is correct, going back to last season. Let me double check, because I was trying to look back at the schedule and see exactly where the Sixers were last year, opposed to us getting ready for what's about to happen here once the schedule actually drops. But the schedule from a season ago for the 76ers, just looking back once again at everything that they did a year ago. I remember Detroit was really early for the Sixers. I think it was the third game of the season when Tobias Harris came back home to Philadelphia. Boston has been one of their top 2 games for, it seems like, the last 5 years. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if Boston once again is at the very top of the schedule. Somewhere in there, it just wouldn't surprise me overall. So the schedule from a year ago was, as I just refresh it, it was regular season. Milwaukee was the home opener on a Wednesday night at Toronto. Both losses to start the season off.
Oh, and that Toronto loss was an ugly one. Yeah. I remember being mad at that game. And it's the second game of the year. Like, how are you losing to this ragtag group of Raptors?
Right. And I think the year before it was in Boston, because they start off in Boston the year before for the season opener. Another loss, but it was a really, really close game in that one.
No, it was Milwaukee the year before. Because that was right around the Harden trade, and it was all the nonsense that was happening around. So a lot of early dates with Milwaukee in recent years. I don't think that's going to happen this year, if I had to guess.
And Boston last year was the 25th, the Christmas Day game. That was the first time. So again, just kind of looking at where things are. Opening night is going to be fun, whether it's the 21st or the 22nd. For the Sixers, we know it's not on national TV, but a lot to look at. Anything stand out to you as far as who you would like to see, maybe early, of a player, a team that you would like to see early against the Sixers?
I mean, it'd be all the guys that you would expect, right? Like, I want Wemby here. Wemby as an in-person experience is just unique in the NBA, right? And that Spurs team is already starting to load up a little bit. They got another very high draft pick. Then they added Carter Bryant was it the mid-lottery, late lottery when they took him? Or actually, it was the last pick in the lottery. I think 14? He was 14th, right?
Yeah.
So they added him. They signed Fox to that extension, although we haven't seen him all that much. So whenever the Spurs come to town, I'll be excited for that. Frankly, with LeBron approaching the end of his career, every time that the Lakers or any other team he might end up on comes to Philadelphia, I will be looking for that date, because that's always it's a fun one, right? Like him, Steph Curry, the guys who are like the old guard of the league, Kevin Durant when he comes to town, all these guys that are kind of at the tail end of their NBA run. When you never know if they'll be back again to play in Philadelphia, you got to savor those moments. So those are definitely, as this schedule comes out here in the next 5-10 minutes, I'm going to be circling those on the calendar. I'm excited for those ones.
How many back-to-backs? What's the longest road trip?
Derek says 82-0.
The longest homestand. That's right, Derek. We hear you on that one. We'll get to it all. We're going to take a quick break here early so that when the schedule drops, we're back on the air with all of you and react in the moment. It's the PHLY Sixers podcast on a Thursday, NBA schedule release day, Sixers 2, right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast, presented by Rothman Orthopedics. And we start off with Ace Hardware Home Services. Got an outlet you need, maybe fix? Yeah, it's like, it's no big deal. I got the other one over there. But guess what? you want to relax in your recliner and plug up the computer and sit back and sit there in that chair, well, Ace Hardware's got you covered. They got that in-person help too, because now they're not just the helpful hardware folks, they're also the helpful home service and repair folks. From plumbing to electrical to heating and cooling, they've got the trusted pros to keep you and your home humming all year long. At Ace Hardware Home Services, they bring helpful home. They help you and give you that love from the store, now right to your front door, from Philly to the Jersey Shore. Here's what they give you. They give you a great experience. The local plumbers and techs that handle everything from the repairs and seasonal maintenance to installation and upgrades. They also bring helpful to your home, where you can spend more time on your projects that do in fact matter. They give you free estimates on equipment installation and replacement with trusted advisors and options that are best suited for your home and your budget. Service you can trust and satisfied guaranteed. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your very next project.
And guys, are you craving the perfect snack that satisfies your hunger and provides the right amount of protein to fulfill your body's daily needs? We've got the right solution for you. Righteous Felon Beef Jerky and Meat Sticks. Righteous Felon traces its roots back to the hallways of Downingtown Middle School, was officially launched by lifelong friends in their apartment kitchen after college. The Exton-based company has been making all-natural, premium quality, better-for-you meat snacks for over a decade. It is now the region's preeminent beef jerky brand. The packaging is fun and engaging. The flavor is bold and tantalizing. The texture is tender and soft. These are, without question, the best meat snacks around. And we're not just saying that because they're paying us, right, guys? The jerky and sticks are sold in your favorite local retailers like Wawa, where you can get 2 bags for $10. Best value you'll see anywhere on jerky right now, but also at Giant, Costco, Royal Farms, thousands of independent stores. And Righteous Felon helps fuel your favorite Philly athletes, working with the nutritionists of local pro sports teams to provide jerky and sticks for players to eat before and after workouts so they can use it as a refueling snack during the games, Devon. So if Righteous Felon jerky and sticks are good enough to keep Philly's pro athletes performing at the top of their game, it's got to be good enough for you too. If you're the kind of person who wants a deal and snacks delivered right to your doorstep, you can order online at righteousfelon.com using the discount code PHLY20 for 20% off. They have all kinds of cool variety packs and bundles on the site. It's the perfect gift for the special meat snack lover in your life. Discount code PHLY20 for 20% off your order on righteousfelon.com.
Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers podcast presented by Rothman Orthopedics, coming to you live from the Xfinity Lounge here. And you can see the Xfinity helmet over Kyle's shoulder there. It's pretty cool as we now partner up with Xfinity in the Xfinity Lounge here. All right, that's what
just had the new Xfinity Mobile Arena announcement today, Devon.
It's official now.
See, we partner with Xfinity, and all of a sudden things begin to move. So it's really that simple.
Look at that. They just follow us, and they're smart by doing so, as they do follow us. I too am also looking forward to seeing, like you said, the old guard, see what they look like. And coming into town, how things react. The Western Conference games also. I want to see some of those Western Conference players and those teams come into
the once-a-year visits.
And the fact that they are so good, and they are all going to be fighting for those. You can't take many games off when you're in the West where, load management here, I'm not doing this here. No. You got to play. And I want to see those when they come to town, because if the Sixers are going to be in that maybe 43, somewhere around that range, maybe they're better than we think, and they are playing for that higher 40s, lower 50s in that also seating area, then it's going to be a tough matchup when they come to Philadelphia. And typically we know that it's a tough place to play when you do go to Philly and play the Sixers. So very curious to see how that goes.
To that point, Devon, Sixers need to get back to that point they were at about 5-6 years ago, where it was borderline impossible for them to lose games at home. And I don't blame the fans for the deterioration of enthusiasm for the Sixers, because we've all watched all the same things as they have. But when people were optimistic about this team, they carried it into the arena, and that place was loud and boisterous, and it was just hard for anybody to come in there and feel like they could come in and get a win, right? Even the 2019-20 disaster roster season, They're like 27-2. And that was a stretch of a couple of years there where they were borderline unbeatable. So I think that's something that if these young guys were to have a goal that's like a team type of goal, other than, advancing it's restoring that same energy and hope and passion that we saw in that arena not all that long ago.
Yeah, wasn't too long ago. So we're waiting. We'll figure it out.
Furiously hitting the refresh button.
Yes, I just did that. And
schedule is out.
There it is.
Just sent the link.
All right. Schedule is
Here
out.
we go.
All right, let's get to it. Let's start it off.
Super producer Bree so that she has it.
All right. There we go. Let's get to it. Let's start it off as let's see.
Oh, they didn't do this the right. Come on, man. All they have on the website.
Yeah. And the same.
It's just, this is a very weird. Come on, Sixers. You got to do better than this. I need we'll wait for the PDF to really run through.
Yeah.
Because it still says schedule be coming soon, even though they sent the link. They lied.
Yeah. And I'm looking on another one to check, and all they have are the cup games.
Come on,
now.
Man.
Yeah. What are we doing here?
82-0.
82-0.
As Derek said.
82-0. There it is. 82-0 on this one. Well, look, I'm looking forward
until
to
the web admin over there gets their act together. Well, Devon, who else are you excited to see come to town this year?
It's funny enough because it's the rookies that I'm interested in. Like, I want to see Trey Johnson in Washington. I know we'll see them 2 times here, 2 times in Washington because of the divisional setup the conference setup that we have. So looking forward to seeing Washington and what they look like, what he looks like in particular with Trey Johnson. How about Orlando, a team that you focused on last summer? And to make that Desmond Bane move, I want to see what the Orlando Magic look like because they looked really good before the Paolo Banchero injury took place and before he could get back on the floor, the Franz Wagner injury happened and things just spiraled out of control. Jalen Suggs also went down for an extended period of time for the Orlando Magic. But they do play for Jamal Mosley. They have a pretty good team.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to see how good they are, what it looks like overall for the Orlando Magic. So that intrigues me, certainly. Out west.
Here we go, Devon. The
Minnesota.
PDF has been sent to us.
It was sent
by super producer Bree because she's more on top of things than whoever's running Sixers.com.
All right. So what do we have here?
The opener.
The opener.
Wednesday, October 22nd at the Boston Celtics. Oh, it's almost like our friend Devon was onto something with. Maybe he had an inclination that they were opening the season at Boston.
Maybe.
All right, win or loss?
I think they go to Boston and win opening night.
All right, road win at Boston. The home opener later that week, 10:25 at Charlotte, or not at Charlotte. The Hornets are at the Sixers.
So home opener.
Saturday night, so they get a couple days off after that opener.
This is a good time for them to just stack a couple of wins that
Yes.
they cannot mess around and lose. So stack in 2 wins. If you can win on the road against Boston, that's great. If you can take that next one against Charlotte, look, Brandon Miller, LaMelo might be healthy for game 2, so he'll be in town. You get an early look at Con Knipple, and we know that Miles Bridges can put up some points as well. But if you can stack those wins, get it out of the way early and get that 2-0. By the way, Kyle, we saw Charlotte last year early in the season in like the first 15 games when they knocked off and got those wins early against Charlotte. So here you go again.
It always feels like they play 15 games against the Hornets because most of the time by December, they've played 3 of them for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to the opening stretch of games. In October, after those 2, they have Orlando at home on the 27th.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's a back-to-back. They go at Washington. So we'll see Trey Johnson, VJ Edgecombe very early in the season, first week of the season. The NBA Cup game after that, that's home against Boston. That's an Amazon Prime game.
Okay.
That closes out October. So 2 games with Boston, Charlotte, Orlando, Washington. That's the opening 5 games of the year. What's the record, Devon?
3-2.
3-2. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that because you are pessimistic about health, or
I'm balancing it out.
okay?
Yeah,
I
balancing it
think
out.
that's probably fair.
How about you? If you look at
Feels like 3-2.
Yeah.
If you can sneak a 4-1 in there, you're cooking with gas. But
stack them.
you take 3-2. You just get a couple wins out, or a few wins out there as you're getting your legs under you. All right, to open November, at Brooklyn, at Chicago, at Cleveland. So couple of softies there, but then you close out a quick 3-game road trip at the Cavs, who were the best team in the East in the regular season last year, returning most of the rotation, all the important guys, save for Karis LeVert and Ty Jerome.
Ty Jerome went
Where did he end up?
He went
Why am I blanking right now?
Did he go out west?
I thought he did, but now I'm forgetting where he went. Who did he sign with? The Grizzlies. That's right.
Yeah, he went out west.
I was about to say the Kings, and I was like, no, that's not right. So close that against Cleveland, then back home for a 3-game homestand, Toronto, Detroit, Boston again. They have 3 games against Boston by November 11th. So they're this year's Hornets.
Yes.
Which is amazing, right? Because they normally, it tells you a lot about how the NBA views both the Sixers and the Celtics this year. Because normally they spread those out. It's like, hey, maybe we'll get one on Christmas. You'll get like a Sunday afternoon matinee in February when they start doing those games.
Yep.
They'll do another national game in March. They're front loading Sixers Celtics. So like, we don't know what this is going to look like. Just get them out of the way.
Get them out of the way. Let them beat up on each other. Split to 2. Split to 4.
And that Boston game is on national TV. It's on NBC.
That's the first of... No, that's not
the
actually.
second.
That's not the first. Okay.
So up to this point in the year, they have, 2 back-to-backs already. This is through about mid-November. Anything jumping out at you so far, Devon?
That November 11th, isn't that the Cup game?
No, it is not.
That's
Detroit is the next Cup. Halloween is the Boston.
Halloween is
Cup
the Boston
game.
Cup game. Okay,
Detroit on the 14th after that Boston game is the next Cup game. So,
all right. So you
a lot
want
on the line in that one. You got to win against Detroit.
Where do you want to go? The next 5, or you want to go past the Boston, Detroit, and all that? Because Brooklyn, Chicago, Cleveland, I think they take 2 of 3 there. Toronto, Detroit, Boston at home. There's a chance.
I think that's a 1 and 2.
Exactly.
2-1 on the road, 1 and 2 at home.
Exactly. And then at Detroit.
Then you got to win that Detroit game. If you have any aspirations to lift the NBA Cup in Las Vegas, you got to beat Detroit.
Game. Have to.
Must win.
Have to. Have to.
All right. Then we go to, all right, we're at November 17th. The Clippers at home.
Mm-hmm.
That's a loss.
Yes.
Toronto at home. Should win.
Should win.
Then a road back-to-back there. After the Toronto game, you're at Milwaukee playing Giannis and Miles Turner and Kyle Kuzma and the gang.
That's a loss.
Yeah, I don't feel good about it. I never liked the home road back-to-back where you're going on the road the second night.
Yeah.
It's one thing when it's like, all right, we had a road game last night, and then you come back and you're playing like the Utah Jazz or the Hornets or whoever at home. I don't like having to go to Giannis's house on the second half of back-to-back.
Nah, I don't like that one either. So I'll give that one a loss.
And then, all right, the 23rd, you're back home against Miami, and then 2 cup games in a row, Devon. So I believe those will be, it's Tuesday. That's the Tuesday before Thanksgiving against Orlando. It's an NBC game.
8 o'clock.
And then Black Friday, 11/28 at Brooklyn, and their NBA Cup fate will be decided.
I don't know. Do I want to go back to Vegas for the opportunity to see them lift the cup?
I think we spent enough time in Vegas the last couple summers, but if they have an opportunity to lift the cup, we will be there.
Having 2 Orlando games early on like this, both at home, I think they split those. So with it, I think it's a 2-2 cup situation there, and they are out.
Oh, I'm loving this home stretch they have at the start of December as we talk about marquee games and guys you want coming to town. So as they get past the NBA Cup and we see how that settles, here's what they got. Home against Atlanta, home against Washington. So once again, Trey Johnson, VJ matchup. Then Golden State on the 4th. Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler. That is a Thursday game. Friday night, they got another road back-to-back in Milwaukee. They have 2 of those.
Another L.
I don't like that at all. Then back home, and you play the Lakers at home on the 7th.
Yep.
That's a Sunday evening game. Do the Eagles play that night? I don't know the Eagles schedule.
I'll look that one up while you do that. The Eagles on the 7th.
Because that would be a crime. Let's see. No, they play on the 10th.
The 8th. They play the 8th.
Play the 8th. Okay. So crisis averted, Devon. Don't have to miss that one.
At LA. So they're yeah, exactly.
The LA. All right. Then there's the period from about December 8th until later in the month that's the NBA Cup flex period. So we don't know who they play there yet. If they're in the knockout rounds, it will be teams that are in the knockout rounds. If not, then they'll get a lighter schedule. So there is some incentive if you don't care about the NBA Cup, and most people don't, you just say throw away one of those games and try to get easier opponents in the non-cup part of the schedule in December. So we skip ahead to mid to late December, the 19th. They are at the Knicks. The Devon Givens Cup at Madison Square Garden. That is an Amazon Prime special.
Loss.
Back home. All right, here's a big one. At home against Dallas and Cooper Flag.
On a back-to-back.
On a back-to-back on the 20. Well, here's the thing.
After you take an L.
I don't care about the back-to-backs for the rookies, right? Like VJ is going to play in those games unless he's hurt, right? So the first Cooper Flag VJ Edgecombe battle happens December 20th.
Saturday night at home.
Excited for that one.
That's a pretty good one though, because look,
it is a good one.
At least New York is not that bad of a travel. It's a quick, you're right back home, get in your own bed, get ready for the game, have a little shoot around before the game, and you get ready to go.
And late December, Anthony Davis will have had like 3 different knocks at that point. So we'll see how he's doing.
And they're 15 centers.
How many back-to-backs are we up to here? That's at least 4 or 5, I believe, at this point.
Definitely.
Up to late December. We'll see what happens in the cup portion. Then home against Brooklyn.
Win.
They got it. You have to sweep Brooklyn. That's one of the goals on the schedule. Sweep Brooklyn, because that team stinks.
It's the Charlotte thing all over again. Sweep Brooklyn.
Absolutely.
Get it done. Now you have the Disney trip.
Oh, yeah. The Disney on Ice trip every year. It used to be, this was always the West Coast trip.
Yeah.
Why? But that is, I don't know why they changed that. But
yeah.
So late December, they're off Christmas Eve, which once again, let's do a fist pump for the media people who don't have to work on Christmas. The Disney on Ice trip.
But they do have a quick turnaround, those media people, to get on the road.
They do.
If they have to do that.
At Chicago on the 26th. At Oklahoma City on the 28th.
That's an afternoon Sunday game in OKC, 3:30.
You want to talk about historic L's. Afternoon OKC game, you might lose by 45 in that game.
Yeah. Yep.
I should get out like a magic marker and we should do a whiteboard with this. Then at Memphis on the 30th. They're off New Year's Eve, Devon. So anybody who's a Sixers fan who doesn't want to be trapped with them on New Year's Eve, good news. You just have them on New Year's Day, 7:30 p.m. at Dallas, and then they finish the road trip at New York, January 3rd. So that road trip, Chicago, OKC, Memphis, Dallas, New York. How many wins do you see there? I think if they get two that's a good road trip.
Yeah, I say 2 and 3.
Chicago, and then one of Memphis or Dallas.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. That's
and then let's see, will Joel Embiid be upright by January 5th when Nikola Jokic and the Fighting Nuggets gang come to town? That is a Peacock game. I also didn't mention Memphis is an NBC game. I have no real idea why. I don't think that's... I love Ja Morant when he's healthy and it's fun to watch. But
Tyrese Maxey versus Ja Morant is probably what the draw is there.
So Jokic versus Embiid, January 5th. Circle the calendars, everybody.
He's back.
He's back.
He's back.
And all the Denver people will point out, Joel does tend to play in the home games against Jokic. So see if that holds true.
Nice tune-up.
Another meeting with the Fighting Trey Johnsons on January 7th at home. Then another road trip. You have, our first mini series of the year, Devon.
Yeah, 2 in Toronto. And they're back
One at Orlando and then back-to-back games.
So they don't have
Toronto.
They don't have a day off in between where it's normally, hey, it's a Monday, Wednesday. No, in this case, it's a Sunday, Monday.
Yes, so that's an interesting one. They normally give them at least a day off in those mini series. So
So Nick Nurse goes back. He and Kyle Lowry.
Do we
Kyle
think
Lowry
that's a scheduled loss or?
After the Sixers take the first 2, I think they split these 2.
And then they have another mini series back home. So the 2 against Toronto on the 11th and 12th. And then they have a Cleveland Cavaliers mini series.
Nice test.
The 14th and the 16th. The one on the 14th is an ESPN game, so another national game.
That's a nice test.
I think they split those. I always assume if you play the same team back-to-back in the regular season, you're splitting it. It doesn't matter how good or bad the teams are.
All right, so look, while we stop there on the front end of that back-to-back for the Cleveland Cavaliers, let's take a quick pause. Everybody scan the schedule while we give our...
We're up to mid-January.
We're up to mid-January, so hang tight, everybody. We come back and we'll talk about... What do the uniforms look like too, Kyle? Are they going to, city editions?
Well, I did see a promotion from the Sixers that may have some logos that look awfully familiar to people at home.
Logos?
Might be, turn of the century.
Logos that we have on our table here, maybe? I
maybe.
don't know. We'll come back.
Are the shoes and the shorts there for a reason? Who's to say?
We'll come back here on the PHLY Sixers podcast, and we'll break down mid-January the rest of the Sixers schedule, NBA schedule release day right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast.
And as we go through this brand new Sixers schedule, we thank our friends at Xfinity, where you can get a 5-year price guarantee for your internet. Life is unpredictable, but the price of your internet shouldn't be. Get a reliable price for a reliable connection. All in means all in. Get Wi-Fi equipment and unlimited data included. It's the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. One internet price, 5 years guaranteed. Change is always happening. Songs get rewritten. Bands and artists come and go. As I said the other day, we enter the next Taylor Swift era among many different eras that she has gone through. No matter what changes in the next 5 years, the price of your internet will stay the same. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change.
All right, folks, I got to tell you about our good people from, you guessed it, Cherry Hill Kia. You got it right. If you're looking for the dealership with the most inventory and super low lease payments in the Philadelphia area, KiaofCherryHill.com is the place to go. Choose from over 450 new Kias, including Tellurides, Sportages, K5s, Carnivals, Celtos, Souls, and more. They just keep going because they are the best. I've got to tell you, Kia is the hottest automotive brand in the country for a reason. 7 of their models received 2025 Car and Driver Editor's Choice Awards. That's amazing considering there were more than 450 models tested and only 20 models industry-wide received this award. You combine that with the best warranty in the automotive business, 10 years, 100,000-mile powertrain, and 5 years, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper. Stop in today. Tell them PHLY sent you and receive a $100 restaurant.com gift card just for simply taking a test drive or completing a trade appraisal. I know people buy Kias elsewhere, Kyle.
I just don't know why.
Drive in your new Kia today, just minutes from all bridges, or available online 24/7 at KiaofCherryHill.com. All right, welcome back to the NBA schedule release day here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. As we keep it rolling, we might as well talk about the big deal, which is the NBA schedule. The big deal presented by Cherry Hill of Kia. And to continue with where you were, Kyle, it's a big deal that they got a 6-game homestand, the first long homestand, starting with the 2 back-to-back games, Wednesday and Friday, with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So to continue with what you were saying, Cleveland with the first 2. Who do they have next on this 6-game homestand?
Next game is Indiana on the 19th. Move on to, here's a fun stretch here, Phoenix, Houston.
Nice.
There you go. There's the Kevin Durant comes to town game. and then a home game, an ABC 3 p.m. Saturday game.
Saturday, ABC, that's
against the New York Knicks on the 24th. Speaking of the big deal, Devon, here's the thing I think is a big deal. Those early games against Boston, I actually think that this is a season you would want to have Boston later on.
Yeah.
Because I think they're a team that has already stripped it down to some degree. They're retooling. They're essentially punting this season.
Mm-hmm.
But at least in the beginning of the year, they're going to have a lot of guys out to prove something, right? It's certainly Jaylen Brown is going to do his best to try to lead the team, but also an Anthony Simons, right? He's expiring after next season. He's on a team where they've actively tried to trade him, and maybe they do by the deadline. But for the time being, he's coming in motivated to show and prove. Now, if they had had a couple of their games post-deadline, you'd say they probably have even less talent on the team at that point, unless the season goes a different way. So I actually think the Boston games being front-loaded may not work out in their favor. Just circling back a little bit.
And that's why when we laid them out, that you kind of point out, they might go 2-2, and they might split those overall just for the mere fact. Well, it's 3 early, and then the other one that's coming up here shortly. But you're going to get the best of them early because they are champions. They have something to play for. They're prideful. And their coach is a maniac, and he's going to try to make sure that they are good there. They're going to have Jaylen Brown. Derek White is still there. Peyton Pritchard, there's a report that he might be the starting point guard on the team, where Anthony Simons is going to be that sixth man for that group. So what does it look like? So I am curious to see, and to your point, you're right. It might be more beneficial to play them later on when they're like, all right, we're out of it. We're not going to quit. However, we might not get draft picks as often, and let's take advantage of this pretty good class here and maybe position ourselves to be in a pretty good spot to get a talented young player to come into the mix once Jason Tatum also is back full health next year.
So I will also say, Devon, to your point about the long homestand, when you start from those Cleveland games in mid-January, you have the 6 in a row at home. Then you have one road game, the 26th at Charlotte.
When
you finish before the All-Star break with Milwaukee at home, Sacramento at home, New Orleans at home. So you essentially get a 9-10 at home stretch, the lone exception being a quick trip down to Charlotte. Once again, you get Milwaukee on a back-to-back, but this time it's at home. This, to me, is a pretty pivotal part of the whole season, is this 9 at home in 10 games. It's heading into the All-Star break, so that means heading into the trade deadline. That's a time where if the team is kind of stuck in the middle, Devon, they're going to need to do something to prove, all right, we're on the up and up, and we need to, potentially trade for somebody for some additional help at the deadline. Maybe you take some of your young guys, your picks, you consolidate, and you're making a run. If things are not looking good by that point, heading into that break, I think that's when you could see Daryl Morey in the front office say, we got to not throw in the towel, but we're not going to be aggressive. We're going to say, this isn't the year for us. We're not going to give up picks. We're not going to give up assets, young players, and we use the rest of the season as developmental time. So that is a pivotal stretch for them.
All right, so this is the first half of the season, right?
Yeah.
They have 47 games up to that point. 27 at home, 20 on the road.
You got to get a lot of your work done because it gets immediately much tougher right after you come back from the break.
And basketball doesn't work like this, as we know, but it's just simply, Kyle, can you make that your record by that point? Can you be 27-20 by that point? And give yourself a 7
actually,
game.
I jumped the gun. That's not the All-Star break.
No,
I was
but
reading it wrong.
But just the first half.
The other games going into the break, you might be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, right. But through those first 47, 27-20, can you do that?
Yes.
Can you do 27-20? And then if Joel has taken a little bit of a, they're really monitoring how he plays in that first half. Paul George, we don't know if he's ready for the start of training camp and the start of the regular season. Same thing for him. Can they stay above water like that? But when you do get them for those final games that close out the season, what's that, 35 more games to close out the season, where you can make that run and put a little bit more of a dent into that second half of those 35 games, to improve yourself.
You need some
bit.
cushion by the time you hit this stretch of the year.
Right. And I'm not sitting there saying, can they go? But look, we just talked about it, 43. So if they go 27-20 in that first half, if it's 35 games, can they go 20-15? I don't know, but it's pretty much the same thing that the first half was of, hey, we just got a little bit here, knock it out, good to go.
I think we've also seen, Devon.
And with that, that's 47 right there.
You get some momentum behind you early. Mm-hmm. Like you get off to a 4-1 start. You get off to maybe you're 10-5 in your first 15. It feels a lot different every game moving forward, right? One of the problems last year is they got just stuck under a black cloud the whole year where every game was high stakes. There was no point in the year where it was like, this game doesn't matter that much, right? Because they still treated themselves as a team that was trying to compete. So every single night you're out there with like, God, we can't give this one away because we're already like 2-10 or we're already, 8-20 something. And it just kept getting worse and worse. It eats into the morale and you're dealing with the injuries. So the reason that 9-10 is such a big deal, and thank you to our friends at Cherry Hill Kia, as Devon pointed out, they close the first half with a trip at the Clippers, then you're back-to-back at Golden State, you come back to LA, you play the Lakers, at Phoenix, at Portland, and then the final game before the break, back home against the Knicks.
Whew.
And that first game after a long West Coast road trip is always brutal.
Yes.
On top of that, you get one of the best teams in the East.
ESPN game too, that one.
That is rough.
That is rough. So when I said the 27-20, the Clippers, the start of that trip, the Clippers were the 47th game on there. So again, that's why it's so important, because you have this stretch here with New York to close it out. So not only do you have that 5-game road trip and New York to close it out, that 6 games is rough.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be lucky to win maybe 2 of those overall. And with it, that 27-20 is important.
Yeah.
27-20 is important there through that first 47, and then those next 5 to close it out to give them that first half of the season. So what's that, 27 there, 8, 9, 50. So yeah, you're looking at that 52 games of the first half of the season, and you got to be on point.
Yeah, the 9-10 is going to be one of the defining stretches of the year, just as this road trip. So here's the thing too, right? It could go one way or another. When they had that one, what year was it? Was it 23? Or maybe it was the next year where they had a really rough road trip on paper, but then they won a bunch of those games.
Were they like 4-1?
Yeah, I think it was 23 when Joel won MVP. And Joel was not healthy or was being given some rest. And they end up getting some unexpected wins. And it's like, oh man, this team has the guys to win maybe in the playoffs too. So you look at it one way or another. Either that's brutal and you're going to get hammered before the break, or it's an opportunity to go into the break feeling like, hey, if we beat a couple of these teams, this Clippers team is very good, Golden State's very good, the Lakers are very good, and then maybe you pick up wins against a Phoenix team that retooled and a Portland team that's young and ascending but still not proven yet. Maybe you're going in with some real momentum.
All right, so as Kyle said, we appreciate the big deal, closing out that schedule there, going into the All-Star break. The big deal presented by Kia. I know people buy Kias elsewhere. We just don't know why. Drive home in your new Kia today, just minutes from all bridges, or available online 24/7 at kiaofcherryhill.com. That was our big deal. Okay, getting back to it. Matter of fact, before we get to the rest of the second half, Kyle, let's let everybody know, as we're talking about Los Angeles, let's tell everybody about our teammates here.
Oh, yeah.
The Flyers and their great trip with Philly Sports Trips and the Philadelphia Flyers going out west for the road trip to Anaheim and also to LA to take on the Kings. The Flyers road trip. It's going to be a great time teaming up with Philly Sports Trips. Once again, the ultimate Flyers getaway. Trips are for the diehards only, for the West and for the California takeover with Flyers legend, John LeClair.
Legion of Doom!
March 17th to the 22nd, we are hitting the West Coast for 2 huge games. First, The Anaheim Ducks at the Honda Center. Then the LA Kings at the Crypto.com Arena, where I believe the All-Star game is going to be at the LA Clippers Arena, the new one. So I was almost jumping the gun there. Your package includes optional round-trip direct flights from Philly, a 5-night stay at the beautiful Sanborn, Santa Monica, so you can look that up. Group tickets to both games, a Flyers watch party, and an exclusive meet and greet with Legion of Doom legend John LeClaire. Plus, the Philly Sports Trip crew will be there to handle every detail. Shout out Vince. So you can just enjoy the sun, the sights, and the hockey, and Charlie and Bill. And I don't know who else is going on the trip. Of course, Brenda is going to be there. We'll see who else is going to be on the trip. And overall, you get to hang out with them. This is the California vacation every Flyers fan dreams of, with a couple of wins to top it off. Spots are limited. Book your trip today at allphly.com/events. All right. If you want to sign up, by the way, to become a diehard, to take advantage of that, $36 for the intro offer. To sign up, become a diehard member, the training camp offer with the great number, Brian Westbrook. $36 for your intro offer. Go sign up, become a diehard member right now with that intro offer. All right, Kyle, the second half of the schedule.
Also, I'm trying to go through this right now. I think they have at least 15 back-to-backs that I counted. I'm not sure if I missed one.
Okay.
It's a lot. A lot of back-to-backs, and we'll have to see how those are managed, right? Because last year it made headlines when Joel came out and said, prior to the year, I think if the team had their way, I would never play any back-to-backs. Does that hold up? How do they manage their other guys? Paul George being a big one, but even the young guys, right? In the early part of the season, is Jared McCain someone who's going to play back-to-backs coming off the 6-month layoff and the surgery? I would assume yes. Most of the time they are not super cautious with young guys on that, but it's a good amount of back-to-backs.
That's a lot of back-to-backs.
And a lot of them are coming down the pipe for this second half of the year. I always hate calling it the second half. It's not half.
Before the All-Star
just
break.
It's pre and post All-Star. But it's, that's a losing battle. So coming out of the All-Star break, they open against the Atlanta Hawks in a home game. Then a 3-game road trip. They head down to New Orleans. Actually, this may be the single worst travel back-to-back of the year. At New Orleans on Saturday night, at Minnesota on Sunday night. That's a bizarre one, man.
That is a bizarre one.
That's almost as bad as, I actually would have to measure up the miles. You remember the year they had Cleveland, San Antonio on a back-to-back? Has that, who looked at a map and said, this makes sense logistically? Anyway, so at New Orleans, at Minnesota, at Indiana to close out a 3-game road trip. They come back for a meeting with the Miami Heat on the 26th of February, and that closes out their February schedule. So the immediate post-All-Star, Devon, home Atlanta, at New Orleans, at Minnesota, at Indiana, home against Miami. What are we thinking record-wise there?
That is a tough one.
I think you got to win at least 2. You got to win the home games against the Hawks and Heat, although Atlanta is going to be pretty good. If you don't win that one, then the New Orleans game is a must-win. I could see, honestly...
This is the last Boston game, by the way, of the season.
Oh, right after that. That's in March.
So March. So you just stopping there.
I'm stopping at Miami.
With those 5. I could see it going either way, 2-3 or 3-2, but I would lean 2-3.
They need to go 4-1.
Fair.
You can lose one of those, probably the Minnesota game. I want to see them. If they're the team that they think they are when they're, relatively healthy, that's got to be 4-1. You got to beat New Orleans. You got to beat this year's Indiana. You have to beat Miami. Atlanta is kind of the toss-up game. The road back-to-back of Minnesota, that's the most automatic loss I've seen on the schedule other than the Milwaukee games.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to March.
I'll flip it. I'll give them 3-2. To your
3
point,
and 2?
4-1. Yes, that you should. I'll give them 3-2 on that one. Just looking it over once again. All right, let's get to March.
So in March,
final Boston game of the season.
The final matchup with the mighty, perhaps not so mighty Boston Celtics this year.
Especially at this point.
Here we go. Here's a it is a back-to-back. Here's a pair of games I am circling on the calendar right now. San Antonio, NBC, 8 p.m.
Wembanyama, Harper, Fox.
And the very next night, Ace Bailey comes to town. It's VJ versus Ace.
Does Ace get booed?
Wednesday, March 4th. That's a really good question.
At the Xfinity
and
Mobile
at that
Arena?
point, that's so deep in the year, we will have a good idea of like who's the rookie of the year favorite. We assume it'll be Cooper Flag. But
See
like,
Harper the
how
night
has
before?
VJ performed? Right. So this is big time. Like if for whatever reason Flag is out of the picture for rookie of the year, let's say he got hurt or just underperforms. This is the rookie of the year gauntlet right here. National TV, VJ against Harper. And then the next night it's Ace Bailey and VJ. So that I'm really excited for that one, not for standings or playoffs or anything, but rookie of the year and first team all rookie battles. Real sicko shit.
Go get him, VJ. Go get it.
All right, so following
Look
that,
at D. Ace.
Pump will be seated.
Pump will be in the building that night for sure. Absolutely.
So you hope they beat Boston. You hope they definitely should beat Utah. San Antonio.
What's those three look like? 1 and 2, 2 and 1.
You hope for 2 and 1.
You hope for 2 and 1.
You can't lose all three.
No.
All right.
Especially with Utah. It's Utah.
You got to beat
Utah. Yeah.
All right. After the Utah game, you have a couple days off. You move on to a game in Atlanta, then a game in Cleveland.
That's a tough one.
That might be 0-2.
Yeah.
You come back, you get Memphis in your only home game against Memphis, which is a back-to-back, by the way. So having played Cleveland the night before, you have to play Memphis. That is not exactly an easy one, right?
No.
Because you're going to have to use all your guys against Cleveland. And Memphis is not a team that rests on its laurels. They'll probably run on you.
Those Cleveland games are funny, too, because shorthanded Sixers, they go in there, they beat them. When they're fully healthy, they get smoked. And it's over by the end of the third quarter. That is a very interesting one, the start of a back-to-back.
Yeah, that's a tough back-to-back.
But to your
you
point,
could lose all three of those games pretty easily. But to your point,
though, at home, the second part of that back-to-back, you lean at times to the Sixers in the home game coming back home in that back-to-back.
Maybe. It's one of those that you normally know right away. Guys are in rhythm earlier. So if you can get some momentum from behind the three-point line, you win those games. I just worry that Memphis will run them into the ground. Maybe the difference this year is they have so many young legs that won't matter as much. All right, so after that Memphis game, you go to Detroit. Quick one game on Amazon Prime type of game. Amazon loving them some Sixers Pistons this year, apparently. I think there are at least a couple, right? I think the early season game might be a... Oh, no, I'm thinking of something else. Never mind. So that's a prime game at Detroit. Where did I lost my place in the schedule here. All right. Then you play Brooklyn at home, Portland at home. That's got to be 2-0.
You got to win those.
Got to win both of those.
Yeah.
You go to Denver. Denver Nuggets fans, circle the calendars. St. Patrick's Day, March 17th at Denver. Coming off of a back-to-back at home for the Sixers, it's 3 games in 4 nights. The NBA did it again. There has never been a time when it's like, hey, there are going to be 2 days off and it's going to make a whole lot of sense, or there are no back-to-backs. There's always some schedule nonsense when they go to Denver.
Yep.
So you can write it in ink now. Joel will not play in Denver.
So Joel will play against he plays against Brooklyn and he sits against Portland if you want him to play in Denver.
We shall see.
Yes.
So you have a 3-game road trip.
Crossover with DNVR.
At Denver on St. Patrick's Day. You then play Sacramento on the 19th on the road. You finish with a game at Utah.
Ace.
Got to be a 2-1.
Got to be a 2-1.
Got to go 2-1. You come home and
man,
after
sweep that trip, man.
Yeah, that would be great. After that West Coast road trip, surprise, you get the Oklahoma City Thunder at home. Have fun. You will get smacked.
Yes, you will. Done.
Chicago after that.
Win.
That's a win. Then a quick 3-game.
And at this point, Kyle, this is where the seeding stuff comes in with the teams trying to position themselves for Patterson and for the Boozer, guys and AJ, all that. This is where it starts. Before that, but in this point, you're already firm where you know the teams that are going to be looking for, let's take some L's here. Chicago didn't do it this past year. Their fault, but who knows?
So then you have a 3-game road trip. You need to sweep. You got to sweep this.
Yeah.
At Charlotte, at Miami, at Washington on April Fool's Day.
Because Kyle, down the stretch, no cupcakes here.
No. Well, we'll see what teams are doing. And to your point, in terms of the resting and whatnot. So you got to sweep that. The Miami game is a Peacock exclusive, it appears. Then you finish with a back-to-back at home against Minnesota and Detroit.
Those are 2 playoff teams.
That's tough. So we'll see where the seeding falls. Then you have a 3-game road trip at the Spurs.
This is brutal.
At the Rockets, and then a back-to-back in Indiana. So we have a Houston, Indiana back-to-back, and you finish the season with a home game against Milwaukee.
What is going on here? What is happening?
Yeah. So this season, they need to have a real tailwind behind them by the time they hit that West Coast road trip in early February, because I do not like how the season closes. You do not want to be in a position where you need to win games to get out of the play-in or make the play-in in the end of March, beginning of April.
No, you do not want to do that. So you need to position yourselves the right way in this one. So what is this? That is
vibe check. I read through every game.
I'm still in that 43 range that we started with before we knew what the schedule looked like. I'm right there. I'm still right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard because
we don't know the
we're just guessing on the health and all the other stuff. But where else can you go through all 82 games right as the schedule drops? Yeah, like honestly, it's the amount of road games, the amount of back-to-backs, and presumably, I think the toughest part about that closing stretch is that in the cases of probably Detroit, Minnesota, San Antonio, Houston, even Milwaukee too on the last game of the year, although you would assume that last game of the year things are wrapped up.
Could be.
Those teams are all probably jockeying for position.
Including Milwaukee.
In some sense. Indiana, I think we assume will be out of it with Halliburton.
If anything, they're playing situation where they're trying to figure
maybe
that
Rick
out.
Carlisle pulls off some devil magic to make it happen.
Yeah, but Milwaukee, that final game, you could be trying to position yourself for a 6th seed with them of where you are, or maybe 7th.
Yeah. So the Western Conference teams are going to be battling for, in Houston's case, it could be home court advantage throughout the playoffs. In San Antonio's case, I don't know where they're going to fall. Like they have a high ceiling, maybe a low floor. We'll see what happens with Wemby and his health and how he meshes with Fox and how ready is Dylan Harper. But they'll be battling. Detroit, we don't know how they could be a top 3 seed in the East, and we'll see what they're pushing for. And then Minnesota right there too, right? There'll be a team that wants to get home court advantage, at least in the first round, hopefully for them in a couple rounds. But I really like how it lays out for them for the first 40 to 50 games or so. I don't love it after that. So get your work done early, fellas, because it's going to get rough.
It really is. And we just quickly looking at 50 and 32 for Money Mar. Book it. Nona has 50s range. 50 wins would be fantastic, Jay says, in responding to Mars 50 and 32. And I would have to go down a little bit more just to see overall what it looks like for them. So, again, the Sixers will be playing for the first time now at the new Xfinity Mobile Arena.
There you go.
For the season as we broadcast from the Xfinity Lounge. So get ready for that. They appear to have, as I look at, Bree has it up on the screen right there, the look at the signage. All set. Looking at the Sixers and their what they sent out to us, they are going to have 14 times on national TV. And that is, of course, NBC and Peacock, Prime, and ESPN as well. Quick overtime. AllPHLY.com if you want to finish off the show with us. Thank you. Once again, on the TV side, head over to AllPHLY.com to finish things off with us here on the show. As far as, I don't see any other, here we go. Some notables just by month. 5 home games, 3 in October, that are 5 games in October, 3 home, 2 road, 14 games in November, 8 and 6. That's 8 home, 6 road, 5 home, 5 road with 2 more to be scheduled because of the NBA Cup in December. So 10 games, even there at 5 apiece. January, 17 games, 11 home, 6 road. February, 11 games, 3 road, 3 home, 8 road, Kyle. 8 in January, in February on the road, and we know about the All-Star break, but 3 and 8 in February. 16 games in March, 7 home, 9 road. And in April, shorter, just like October, 7 games, 3 home, 4 road. So that's how it breaks down for the Sixers by month.
So by the way, they have 16 back-to-backs. That is tied for the most in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So they got the short end of the stick on that one. That is probably one of, if you're just talking about storylines coming out of the schedule, that's one of the big ones, because with so much uncertainty about the health of Joel Embiid and Paul George, going into the year and expecting you have at least 16 times where you're going to have to make a business decision about the health of 2 of your best players going into one or both of those games, that complicates things a little bit. And when we went through and we listed, hey, a lot of these they're going on the road on the second half of that back-to-back.
Yeah.
That makes it even tougher, right? Because when you're at home, at least then you're with all your medical staff at your facility and you can do kind of the normal treatment procedure. And obviously they have all kinds of processes in place when you're on the road, and these guys travel with a whole army of people to work on them, but you're sleeping in a hotel room. You're not in your own bed, and you can't control so many things the way you do at home. So having all these back-to-backs is not great. Not great.
It's not
for this
great.
team specifically. They are tied with 4 other teams. The Nuggets, the Suns, the Hornets, and the Wizards all also have 16 back-to-backs.
All right, so how do you feel, everybody? The schedule is out. Take a look it over once again, process it all, and maybe get back to us tomorrow on what your final record is and how many wins you think that the 76ers will have. This is going to be a fun season, of course, we want to see, because it could be the start of the Tyrese Maxey era where it's really leaning on he and the young guys, or it could be, let's go out on top. Not that they're done, because Joel was still very young. You have 3 years left on Paul George's contract. Joel Embiid's extension kicks in, all of that stuff. There's still a runway, but we're being realistic of we don't know right now. So what is it? What does it look like? What could it be? Are they a playoff team? Are they a play-in team to get to the playoffs? What does it all mean for this basketball team? We have a lot of time to talk about it here as we finish things off on this Thursday, from this Friday, tomorrow, throughout the rest of the offseason, where there'll be certain things for us to discuss based on now the schedule being out.
I have another thing that I'm raising my eyebrow at looking through this schedule, Devon, before we get out of here. So 14 national TV games. National games. We can't say TV because some of these are streaming, right? It's Amazon Prime and Peacock, but throw them in the same. Of the 14, how many do you think ESPN or ABC are carrying?
2.
3. So you're very close. So
that's without looking at
ESPN, as the incumbent who has dealt with the Sixers nonsense, has said,
you
know what? You can have them, Amazon.
There you go.
You can have them, NBC. You want to talk about Joel Embiid's health?
They tricked us already
for 11 times. Go ahead and do it. So ESPN's management and TV schedulers apparently said, thank you, but no thank you.
They've tricked us. Now it's your turn.
It's your turn to deal with that.
Aaron, we see you have to step away. We thank you as always. We appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow. And with that, let's get to the world
probably
famous
time
roll call.
For a roll call, as
absolutely.
I did nothing but just read most of the show today. So this
was good
harkening
reading.
back to like a group elementary school book that you're reading together. I should have done some popcorn. We do popcorn reading. You ever do that in school?
Yes, we did.
I had never mind, story for another day. Thank you, everybody, for showing up just to listen to us yap about the schedule. We will have full predictions on all 82 games out sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Thank you to Eugene Ross.
What up, Gene?
To my girl Nona,
Hey, Nona.
to Jess, to Mom's
She's got the purple
grandchildren.
heart. The Purple Heart is not there now
It's
because
not.
of the YouTube thing, but yeah. Hey, Mom.
Hello to Mom. Hello to Theo. Hello to Provolone John.
What up,
Hello
Theo?
to You Done Messed Up, Aaron.
See you, Aaron. We'll check back in with you tomorrow. You done messed up. Rest of the NBA sleeping on the Sixers.
Jay of the Jungle.
What
We
up,
got
Jay?
Duck Holiday, SB Cole, Lost Sleep
What up,
TV, D Flyers, who was in here early saying 41 and 41, I believe.
Yeah,
So
41 and 41.
see how that plays out.
Yeah.
We got Jeffrey Stewart, who tried to say poppin' in the chat to say hi to get on the roll call. Actually said pooping in the chat.
Whatever
So
you got to do.
it's okay. A little bit of an unfortunate typo, but
it's overtime. It's okay.
Brian Knight is here with us. Thank
What
you
up,
to
B. Knight?
Brian checking in.
Yeah.
Who else we got today? We got
have?
Joaquin in
What up,
Cherry
Joaquin?
Hill.
Yep.
We had Will. We had Igavini.
Willie Will.
We had, let's say the bull RJ was in here yesterday, so I'll say hello to RJ.
Yep.
We also had Devon and Derek.
Derek's on vacation. but
Hello to
hanging out
Derek.
with
He's
us.
always popping in despite the fact that he's on vacation. Buddy, enjoy your downtime. You don't need to be.
We'll see you next week.
We'll make you do all
It's all
82
good.
game predictions next week, and then you can get involved. The Court Jester 007.
Marcus.
Ron Brown Sr. What's up to Ron?
Ron.
Hello to Ron.
See
Hello to
Ron.
Marcus Blackstock, as always, our guy Marcus. Thank you to everybody
Yes.
for checking in and hanging out with us today. On the way out, if you could do me a favor, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you get notifications each and every time we go live, and hit the thumbs up button to say, way to go, super producer Bree. You had the schedule up before the Sixers got their shit together on their website. You got the schedule up on the sidebar so everyone could tune in and watch it as we scrolled along.
And I don't know how she had the home opener and the season opener already ready to go. That
She
quick
was
typing
rolling.
and imaging that she does.
Rolling as always. So hit that
Yeah.
thumbs up button to say thank you to Bree. And thank you to all of you for being here. We will be back for one more show this week tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Thank you, Rothman.
Do not miss it. Thank you to Rothman. Thank you to Xfinity as we hang out in the Xfinity
Got the new
Lounge.
helmet. Look at that. New Xfinity helmet.
Thank you, Xfinity. We will be back tomorrow. We hope to see you then. Until then,
Look at the logos,
take care of each
y'all.
other. Goodbye.
Yes. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.